First step to go in UK.
It's happening.
Today, Rose just sent me a link saying that Denmark will impose a quarantine for Singapore travellers. We will technically buy our tickets 5 days before our flight. Come on, British Airways, say properly. Oh my god. Finally, stepping on a plane after 2 freaking years. What's up guys, so welcome to episode 2. So before bringing you on the journey, I want to talk about the route that we will be taking so that you all will have a little bit of idea of how much distance we will actually travel. So to begin our journey, we stayed in London for about 4 days before setting off to Liverpool via train. And it only took us about roughly 3 hours to get there. From Liverpool Lime Street Station, we took a bus to the airport where we rented a car to drive to Anfield and Etihad Stadium. After the stadiums, we drove to Sheffield where we stayed at my friend's place before moving off to York. P.S. York was a beautiful place, but stay tuned for the next episode. After York, we made a scary night drive up the mountain areas and into the farmlands south of Yorkshire Dales. Leaving Yorkshire Dales the following day, we made a super long drive up north towards Scotland where we did stop at a couple of places before reaching Balloch, something like that, which is a small quaint town northwest of Glasgow. After Balloch, we made a scenic drive through the mountains to reach our next Airbnb at Ballachulish, which is just right beside Glencoe, an area filled with gorgeous mountains that you should definitely check out. From Ballachulish, we made our way to the famous Isle of Skye where we stayed at Wick, north of Isle of Skye, before moving downwards to the main city at Portree. We literally drove the entire of Skye to visit all it has to offer. I mean, it's literally the reason why we drove up to Scotland, so why not? Once we finished our tour at Skye, we made our way to the next location at Drumnadrovich, aka Loch Ness. Yes, the Loch Ness that we read when we were once young, Nessie. And after Loch Ness, we went up to the most northern city in Scotland called Inverness, where we took a train down back to the main cities of Edinburgh. Stayed in Edinburgh for 2 days, which you will find out in the coming episodes, before moving off via train back to the big city of London. So basically this sums up our entire trip and the distance we covered, and you must be thinking that we are crazy to be travelling so many places in 19 days. But yes, we are crazy. So all in all, the distance that we travelled from London to Isle of Skye, to Inverness, down to Edinburgh and back to London is a grand total of 2,707 kilometers. And to those who may be of concern, it is equivalent to 1,682 miles. And the total accumulated time that we were on the road to travel 2,707 kilometers is 36 hours. So now you got the gist of our trip, let's begin the real journey where I'll try my very best to bring you all guys along. And hopefully you all can watch till the end. Please. So for day 2 of our London trip, Carol actually brought us around, and one of the places that we wanted to see first was St. Paul's Cathedral, and I did manage to take the very mainstream shot that even Carol knows lah. So this was the picture. And apart from that, we tried to enter the cathedral, however it was on a Sunday and we did not realize that visitors aren't allowed on Sundays, every other day except Sundays. So apart from St. Paul's Cathedral, our second stop of the day was the Millennium Bridge, which was just a stone's throw away from St. Paul's Cathedral, and it's really nice. So a little bit about the Millennium Bridge. Fun fact about it, it is 325 meters long. It started construction in 1998 and it only completed 2 years later. To me, the design of the bridge looks very interesting and it looks very modern. I didn't expect it to be built in 1998, let alone designed before 1998.
After that, we went to Covent Garden to meet my friend Lynette, and we actually wanted to have lunch at Clos Maggiore Cafe because the cafe is super pretty, but then it is full and we couldn't get a table, so we ended up we just stopped by a pub nearby.
So after lunch, we went to the ever famous Chinatown, which is really anticlimactic, to be honest. It's just a street full of Chinese food. However, if you are a bubble tea lover, a bubble tea addict like Rose herself, you can go over there and check out all the bubble tea stores, which I am not a fan of and I won't crave lah. Day 2 only, then Rose want to crave Singapore bubble tea better. So for day 3, we went back to London city centre, however this time without Carol, but we decided to go for museums, which we have to book our slots in advance. So the first museum we went was British Museum. What's up guys, so this is day 3 of our UK trip and today we're going to be visiting... Oh shit, there's like shit on the lens. We are visiting the British Museum. So far the museums here in UK are all free, but you have to book it in advance just to secure your slot lah. I'm gonna check out what it is inside and see how it goes. Yep, so no mics allowed and sorry for the bad audio, but here's some B-roll. Probably gonna do some VO lah. So to be honest, the British Museum don't really have British history but have everything else but British history. And a little bit more about the museum is that it was founded in 1753. It is the first national museum with over 1 million of collectors' items about human history and knowledge. And do not be mistaken that the museum is about British history, because it's not. When looking at the exterior of the museum, it seems old at first, but when you step into the museum, it looks like a whole new world. With glass roofs allowing a lot of natural light to light the white marble walls and floors. What else is inside is there are a lot of mummies, mummies and tomb relics from Egypt, statues, carved stones of men and many other exhibitions that are definitely worth a visit. What's up guys, so we just finished British Museum and it's on our way to the Natural History Museum. So we're gonna make our way there now, eh? We are just reaching Natural History Museum and Rose got annoyed with her jacket. Yeah, and we're gonna take a look. Probably gonna take out my mic again because they won't allow it. So yeah, I'm gonna do a voiceover. Everything was beautiful, from the exterior architecture to the interior to the history pieces. They were all very interesting and fascinating. So if you're ever coming to London, make sure to check that out. But remember to book your tickets in advance. And yes, I finally got to see my dinosaur. Some background info about the museum is that it exhibits mainly a vast range of specimens of animals and insects with over 20 galleries from various segments of natural history. The museum was constructed in 1881 and we personally love the entire architecture of it. Actually more of Rose lah. And when you step into the museum, you'll be greeted by a very large skeletal structure of a sea creature, which makes me think, how did they get it up there? It also has a dinosaur gallery with animatronics, dinosaurs that moves and makes noises with many hands-on activities, even though if it's not that COVID friendly lah. Apart from that, there are also extinct birds that show life-size models and also insect exhibitions that show many different kinds of disgusting insects. Sorry, not a fan. And seeing most of the galleries, it was really interesting to find out that there are so many different kinds of species living in the world, and it does make me think, are there even more that had not been discovered?
After my failed attempt with Klaus Maggiore, this time after the museum, we booked another cafe, which is of course very pretty, the Portion Peggy. And we had a very huge and nice portion of sandwiches. We have scone, we have pretty cake, we have Chelsea rose and lavender tea, and a hot cup of chocolate. After lunch, we went home for early dinner and have an early rest before we start the next day because of the long journey from Liverpool to Sheffield.
So the end of day 3, the worst thing happened to me is that my sinus kicked in, the flu came in, blocked ears, blocked nose, sickness just come flooding in. And of this date filming, it's already day 7 and I'm still having flu, as you can tell. So for day 4, we made our way from Eltham all the way to London Euston, which was rather hectic because we had to carry the 2 luggages. So in the end, I still carried the 2 luggages. And To be honest, London people are quite friendly. Some of them actually offered help to carry the luggage down the stairs. So our train station from London Euston to Liverpool Lime Street was relatively smooth, but once we got out, we had a light lunch and then we got lost again because the Google Maps itself and the roads in Liverpool was relatively confusing. And then we also had to double check whether we could use Oyster card in Liverpool, which you cannot. And the final time that we got lost was to find the car rental where I put the wrong address into the GPS, so we made one big wrong turn. Just went the wrong way. Oh, luggages. I'm gonna die already. After about an hour of travelling on the bus and walking with 2 luggages, we finally found the car rental. So we finally collected the car and it is a Audi A3. Rose is inside, so my sinus is annoying me. I'm gonna drive to Enfield now and yeah, see you guys there.
Genius!
What next?
What is so cool about this one? Alright, I'll just assume like this is cool. Are you ready to drive your new body?
Yes, but my nose is still annoying. So before heading to Sheffield, I had a really important mission to do in Liverpool and Manchester, which was to pee at Anfield and Etihad Stadium because my brother and my father are supporters of them, and also at the same time go and see Old Trafford, which was my childhood club. So driving from Liverpool Airport to Anfield, it was relatively easy getting the hang of driving in Liverpool itself, so we were safe lah. So overall, the half an hour driving from the airport itself was very smooth. So we are now in Anfield on a mission to pee at every stadium and also buy my dad a Christmas gift. So that was a rather easy drive so far from the airport, but everything seems smooth lah. So now we gotta find the entrance and I don't know where is it, but it looks cool to be honest. We reached Anfield and this was the picture. My job here is done, finally peed at the statue and at the stadium, so just kidding, I'm gonna buy my dad a Christmas gift. Too bad we can't go for the stadium though. But 2 more stadiums to pee at and we can go to our next destination. Oh, just finished shopping for my father's Christmas present and birthday present. And then we need to rush over to Etihad Stadium to buy my brother's balls. Because it closes at 6 and it's now 3:45 and it's a 1 hour drive, so hopefully no jam. Yep, rush. And knowing that we did not have enough time because when we reached Anfield itself, it was about 3 PM and I told my friend that we will actually reach Sheffield at 4 PM and sunsets in UK at 4, so we had about an hour of daylight left. I wanted to go all 3 stadiums, but I don't think we can make it to Old Trafford because it closes at 5, so we'll just go all the way to Man City Stadium.
Congrats with your mission. So far, 1 out of 2.
So after buying my father's present and peeing at Liverpool, we straight away rushed over to Manchester City where the security guard actually stopped us. So we spent another 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure out another entrance because Etihad Stadium is so damn big. So we found another car park and basically you can come in. It's just that guy lazy lah, but I don't blame him in a way.
I do.
There were like so much more other people in the stadium itself, some even having a job. So this was us trying to rush to the store before it closes. Store closing at 6. Faster. Just to buy a ball for my brother. But yeah, in the end we completed the mission. I peed at Manchester City, picture over here, and we also bought Christmas presents for my brother. So now we are going to make our way to Sheffield and meet my friend to have dinner. So it's a 1.5 hours drive. Oh my god, I need to pee. So after completing my missions at Anfield and Etihad Stadium, we did not have enough time to visit Old Trafford. Too bad. But it was already about 5-6 PM and we had an hour and a half to 2 hours drive to Sheffield. And my friend told me that it would be a very dark drive, which I did not expect it at all, which was called Peak District, and it was quite high up, which we also did not expect it at all. So when we were driving halfway, our ears got blocked, and then realized that we were actually quite high up in the mountains. And altitude wasn't just the problem was there were no lights on the street itself. It was very, very curvy, and it was a heck of an experience for me to be driving there, which I really, really love. But Rose was scared. So after 1 hour and 30 minutes plus of driving, we finally reached Sheffield, and the roads in Sheffield is just... I hated driving in Sheffield so much. Literally the entire city is made out of roundabouts. We literally got lost in the city itself. So after driving about 20 plus minutes, I found my friend's apartment, and then we finally met her. And that was the end of day 4. I've been rather sick. I've been coughing, sneezing, and sinusing, if that's a word. We were at a point where we were so high, there was no signal, and there was actually ice on the roadside.
Oh shit.
So my lens focusing has problems now. Whenever it focuses, it makes this very, very weird noise. We initially planned to stay at Glasgow, however, we decided not to because of the Omicron cases that spiked